we're going to do about 50 or 66 miles today, so make sure you have enough fuel. For those of you that aren't topped off, you probably want to think about doing that before we take off here. We're going to ride today. We're going to ride on the flat track up through a little canyon along the river here. Then we'll go across the flat to the mouth of Dry Creek Canyon. That's where we'll stop there and get everybody back together after the long ride across the flat. That's going to be kind of a boring ride for a few minutes, but it'll make up for it once we start up the canyon. We're going to start up Dry Canyon and end up on top of Monroe, and we'll cut across the top of Monroe and we'll stop at Barney Lake for lunch. Beautiful little lake. When we get up to Barney, we're going to have to really think about how to park our machines. I'll have to start directing people because there's not a lot of space for this many machines, so we'll have to stack in there. But it's worth it stopping there. After lunch, we'll do a loop around Manning Meadow Reservoir, back Box Creek Reservoir, and then loop back around and come back down to here. So hopefully the weather will hold out. The forecast that I saw this morning makes it sounds like we're going to have a pretty decent day compared to what it was saying yesterday. So.
You know when you got drivers here.
Yeah.
I said you 50 years.
50.
Too bad. How you doing? How are you?
About 10 years ago, a new ranger came to town over in Richfield with the Fish Lake National Forest. He was the district ranger for this area. And I got to looking and realized that the aspen on this mountain was extremely unhealthy. Aspen have been kind of the lifeblood for this country for years and years, and hundreds of years actually. And because of a group of things that have happened. One of them is that you can see by looking out through here how the firs and the spruces have moved up through the aspen growth and kind of taken out all of the foliage that's underneath where the cows and the elk and the deer graze, and also takes out the baby shoots. And with aspens, you got to have a clear area for the shoots to pop up so this community of aspen trees is healthy and it grows. All these agencies came together and they developed this restoration plan for this mountain. Now it includes 2 or 3 different things. One of them is, like we just saw coming up through this road, you saw big slash piles of pines and aspens. And then if you look off to the side, if you notice, there were some freestanding aspens that were clear of any firs or spruces. And that was one part of the project where they've gone in, cleared out that stuff, and allowed the baby sprouts to start growing. Now, the question is, okay, you start the sprouts going, how do you handle the elk and the deer and the cattle that are grazing? Well, they've taken areas that they're working on like that, and areas that they're burning, and they fenced it in. Now, the other thing that they're doing, besides the clear cutting, or not total clear cutting, but the thinning, is they're doing burning. They're burning in a couple of different ways. They're coming in actually doing total prescribed burns where they'll burn canyons out. And when I came down here in April, that was just nothing but barren dirt underneath all those burnt trees. And coming up there this morning after all these rains, I was amazed at the plant growth that's occurred underneath where they've had that controlled burn. So, because what's happened in the past with the Forest Service, and I used to do it when I was a kid, so I know that we would respond to every single fire on a mountain like this and put it out. Well, nature has a tendency to go through naturally, burn the undergrowth, and allow for natural growth to begin happening again. Decomposition, everything starts to grow. And by running out and putting out fires, we not only kept that from happening, but we also build up a huge amount of fuel. Now we're seeing fires today that we never saw 20, 30 years ago. Because it's healthier for the deer, the elk, the cows, and everything else that lives, all the wildlife. We have a healthy environment up here with the aspen the way it used to be, and that's their plan.
We have an Alexa, and the Alexa is tied to the car too, and they have a program.
Wow, that was a good one.
That works good.
Not too bad for an old man. How's St. George?
Well, we came up to go out to 24.
got 10, 15 horses on it to get it up here, probably. Probably a few day trip.
Well, one of the stories, when this first started up in here, there was a guy that decided he was going to make a toll road.
Make a what?
A toll road, charge people to get up into the canyon. So he sold one of his claims, and they spent a lot of money making this toll road, and the guys got so upset about it that they went and dug their own road, which actually follows the main road up.
Oh.
And so he did all that, spent all that money, and those guys cut their own trail and used it for free.
It's kind of interesting from the top side. There's like a little bridge built across to that, the top of that. Dump in.